Who am I when I'm not caffeinated? Hello! You are watching POLYMORFIX. My name is Alexis. And if you feel like you know me, but you can't quite place it, you may actually recognize me from my breakout role as the elephant in the Turkish rainbow fascism homophobic ad. So thank you so much for finding me here today. I personally have gathered here today to talk about a recent obsession that some of you may share, which is The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, specifically season 3. I have recently watched it and I just really need to share my thoughts. Nobody wants this video, nobody asked me for this. The only person that even might be mildly interested in this is my colleague and lovely sister, Leonie. Hello, if you're watching this, shout out to you. The rest of you, I guess you can watch as well. You're so welcome to. I just have a lot of thoughts that I need to debrief on this third season. For those who don't know, The Real Housewives of Mormon Wives. The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is a reality TV show that is now on its third season. It's on Hulu / Disney Plus if you haven't watched it yet. Also, if you haven't watched it, why are you clicking on this video? That's weird. But it's a reality TV show that is kind of built like Real Housewives of X City, which I'm also a massive fan of. I'm sure we will be talking about that at some point in the future as well. Regardless, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives follows a group of women who all do TikTok, specifically mom talk. So they do their little dances and talk about being moms, and basically this reality TV show follows their lives and their feuds, etc. For this video, I'm going to assume you have watched it, or at least a bit of it, because I don't want to explain every character here. That's not what this is for. I just want to share my thoughts on season 3 and kind of on the whole show, but mainly looking back on season 3. So if you have not watched it, I actually really recommend it. Maybe this video will give you a flavor for it, but you know, this is for the ones who already know, really. So in today's video, I will be going over some thoughts about the individual cast members and partially their storylines. And I will also talk a bit about the show itself, because I feel like I have some lukewarm takes that I need to share on the internet. Sorry, that's what I'm here to do. And also, just quickly, you might notice that the set looks a little different. I had it rebuilt recently, redesigned, and by that I of course mean I moved rooms. So this also just happened a few days ago. Things around here might change. Maybe I'll find a different filming setup. We'll figure it out. Things are happening. Anyways, let's get straight into it. I started writing my script for this video halfway through the season, and originally, by the way, it's my teleprompter over there. If I'm looking over there, mind your business. Originally, my hot take was going to be that the show has lost its spark and nobody here knows how to do reality TV. Then everything changed. In the second half, the second half was great. The first half really bored me, and especially the last 2 episodes of the regular show plus the reunion really changed my life for the better. They really turned it around and they really got it up to the top to being a great reality TV show with that. I still think a lot of these girls only know how to do reality TV by going really for the jugular and they're talking about personal stuff. I think it takes a true reality TV star to be entertaining about petty things. And that's what I want to see. I don't want to see marriages breaking apart every day in every episode and everybody's well-being being compromised all the time. Sometimes we just need to talk and fight about the little itty-bitty stuff. I think Mormon Wives is interesting on different levels. I think seeing Mormons is just fun and interesting, especially if you're culturally not that close to them. I think a lot of people are fascinated by them. I think that's also part of the appeal for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, for example, and all other documentaries, for example, about Mormons. Also, I think these girls being influencers is very interesting. It's cool to see behind the scenes of being an influencer and seeing into the lives and seeing the dynamics that form through that. As the seasons have gone on, I feel like the show has gotten more meta, dude. It's like so meta. And they bring up more and more that it's a show, which I think is actually really interesting. There's always this suspense of disbelief, which I'll get more into with regular Real Housewives, for example. And here they're just openly like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to you about it on a show, we're on a show. Or this person quit the show, this person's off the show, or back on the show, I'm rejoining the show. And they would never do that on Real Housewives. Things are changing, of course, but in general, they always keep it like my circle of friends. And you know, they have this certain language that is meant to like hide that they're actually on a reality TV show, which I think is very interesting. I feel like Secret Lives has lost some of its whimsy. I feel like the first season was excellent because it was this whole weird setup. The first episode was crazy with the police getting called, arrest and whatever, and then like time skip to a few months later for the second episode. Never seen something like that on reality TV. I thought that was spectacular. Televisione. And they were so random with the pregnancy test in the cake. Also seeing these girls be like, we don't drink, we don't have coffee, we don't have tea, but let's do some ketamine therapy. Let's get high on laughing gas. Wouldn't that be so nice? Right before we get our Botox to get a little high. It's so weird. It's strange and it's whimsical and it's fun. We've lost some of that whimsy. Now everybody's marriage is under attack from all sides, including from the inside. It's still outrageous, but in a different way, in a more intense way, in a more heavy way as well, as we've seen, for example, with Jen Affleck of Ben Affleck fame, just talking about depression all the time. I feel like the girls themselves have become more serious about who they are. While in the first season, it was just like, we're doing this, kind of thing, you know. Also, to sort through my thoughts and feelings, I created this little alignment chart where I will, as we go along, sort the girls and the boys, and there are no they-thems in this. So the girls and the boys, along the metrics of saint and sinner and flop and diva. I will not be taking questions on this, and it just seems right to me. What can I say? And you can just follow along and watch my genius unfold in front of your very eyes. And if you disagree with me, that's it. Okay, first up, reality TV at the end of the day is about creating conflicts, fighting, and then resolving them. Holding a grudge forever does not work on reality TV. Of course, there's some rivalries, but even in those rivalries, I'm thinking, for example, Kyle and Lisa Vanderpump, or even Giselle and Karen. They need to come together again and then fight again. You know, you cannot just be fighting forever without rest. That's why I think Michaela is not the best cast member. First of all, she's kind of boring, stiff, and she feels very judgmental. Which in a way that feels like deeply insecure. And of course, we've seen her talk a lot about trauma. And I think that was very powerful, first of all. And I don't blame her for being insecure, especially after all of that and working through all of that on TV and in public. But maybe, I don't know, maybe she shouldn't have been on reality TV for this. Something that just gets me about Michaela is her level of meanness. Just feels so like, this is gonna sound so bad, but so like rotten to the core. I've seen this in real life as well, and it just covers the insecurities. And of course, you need messed up people on TV because normal people are not gonna be interesting. And we need to talk about heavy stuff as well. I think it's very powerful that reality TV is tackling these topics, and I think a lot of different topics were actually handled quite well on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, whether those are SA or addiction, things like that. I think they're actually doing a really great job of talking about those things and also showing people go through it. Although I do have some like mixed feelings about that because it's powerful and it's great to see, but also I don't know, maybe we should not be in the middle of people working through their deepest, darkest trauma with a camera. That is maybe the good person in me. I'm a very empathetic and good person, in fact, in case you didn't know. And I just wish for the people going through this that, for example, Michaela, that she would do this off the show. First of all, I don't think she does good reality TV, so, you know, get off it. But, I don't know, like, this shouldn't be exploited as a storyline for TV. Crazy hot take, I know. I don't think she makes up for it, I guess. That's mainly my problem. That, like, all we see from her is pain, which then morphs into meanness. And I don't know if I want that, personally. Please do share your thoughts with me on this. I'm very ambivalent about it. Again, I think it's important to talk about bad stuff, but we're also here for entertainment. But since we're talking about Michaela, I also want to talk about her, I don't know, sidekick. Well, she's kind of the sidekick. I don't know. They're sidekicking each other. None of them are giving main character, to use some Gen Z language. Macy. I feel like she's kind of the Heather Gay of this show. If you know, you know. She's moderately funny and relatable, and I think she's genuinely a sweet person and seems somewhat down to earth, which I do appreciate. I, of course, loved seeing her and her husband really step up for the queer community in Utah. And my only real take on her is that I think there's some pride that's developing, similar to Heather Gay. There's a toxicity that comes from that. And especially when she tag teams people with Michaela, like the first half of the season, I feel like they were just like pumping each other up and being mean and being like, at different people, while on their own they're like sweet and, you know, whatever. Not like that. I have a prediction on this as well. I think in season 4 they're going to be the villains and be on the outs with the others for a bit. I also feel a similar way about Layla to Michaela. I think she's genuinely a sweet girl. First of all, I also really appreciated her talking about being mixed race and starting to connect more with her black side. And when she had that whole thing with going to the hairstylist instead of going to Jesse's salon and talking about being a POC in Utah, I thought that was really heartfelt and honest and important, and I really enjoyed watching that. Also, Jesse, of course, had the only correct reaction to Layla revealing this hairstylist situation, both as a friend and as a professional. I'm kind of sad that Layla was that scared of telling Jessie because, like, as I said, as a friend and as a professional, she should be understanding of this. And I thought that led to a nice conversation, or like a nice point from Jessie as well, seeing the same problem with there being, you know, just very little POC in Utah. One thing about Layla that I really love for her is that she thinks she's finding, or well, she thought she was finding her voice. And in my opinion, really, she did not. She was all like, if she hits the table, or she doesn't know I hate her, behind people's backs. But then when there was actual potential to like clear it or to like get into it with one of the other girls, she was just like, and I just don't like that. I think you need to, if you talk the talk, also walk the walk in reality TV. And she did not, and that really disappointed me. Maybe that's just a bit of insecurity speaking from me, because I'm also like that. But I'm not on TV getting paid to fight. Yet. So it kind of felt like middle schooly, to be honest. And I think we need more than that. Like, she's just getting completely bulldozed by these girls who know how to play the game and know how to do the argument. And still, I obviously hope the best for maybe I'm just taking this moment. I hope the best for everybody. And this is not about these people. This is about how they are acting and being portrayed on this show. Of course, I don't know these people. I don't particularly want to know most of these people. You know, I hope they live happy, healthy, long lives and figure out their shit. But I gotta give the people what they want, and the people want to talk about the show, and the people are me. So let's go ahead and sort the boring brigade into the chart. I think they're all in the same sort of space for me. I'll add their men's as well. So we've got Michaela and Macy over here. Jacob and Jace, go on, get in there, boys. And Layla as well. Now, it's diva time. I have rooted for Whitney Levitt since day one, and I will never stop loving her. And also her gay husband. Is that not okay to say? I'm sorry. Whether her husband is gay or not, I love him. I love him. And I love them together. They're such a cute couple. Whitney makes for great TV because she knows how to work it, and she's the correct level of outrageous and delusional for this line of work that she's in. She also knows how to throw shade for a white girl from Utah. For example, said, "It's hard riding the fence." I don't know how you do it, Macy. I was cackling. I love that. She's clearly insane in a funny way, and she's not afraid of going for the jugular. And of course she wants fame, but at least she's open about it. She's not afraid of putting her peed on pregnancy test in a cake and serving it to people. She's just like that. And of course it was in the bag, but still. As I said, I also love Connor. I would even give them their own show and watch it, to be honest. I think they are perfection. And also, oh my God, I cannot believe it. Whitney Levitt is Roxy Hart on Broadway. Congratulations to her, she deserves this. And for those who don't know, Roxy Hart in Chicago has been a role that's actually been played by a lot of reality TV stars, which is very funny to me. And that seems very appropriate. We've seen it done by Lisa Rinna, Erika Jane, /Girardi /whatever, and also Ariana Madix of Vanderpump Rules fame. And now Whitney Levitt is the next one, and I'm so happy for her. And I thought it was just so real of her to be like, yeah, I'm coming back. I want to be on Dancing with the Stars this season. She just knows how to work it. And I think we've also had some really heartfelt moments from her. And I think she's the best person on this cast. Sorry. They're obviously gonna get, both her and her husband are gonna get their spots up on Diva Mountain, because come on. Okay, so God bless Jen Affleck. We've really seen her go low, which I thought was really powerful. I feel like her man, Zach, has become more bearable, and that's all I'm going to say about him. I love for her that she got on Dancing with the Stars along with Whitney, of course. It gave her a nice storyline this season. I enjoyed her coming back into the group. I do enjoy seeing her a lot, but I don't think she's made for this format. I don't know. Again, I think she's just not that good at reality TV. Still really like her though. I think she's probably a good influencer, even though I don't, watch these girls in an influencer kind of way. But I feel like she doesn't add much to the show except for depression and marital problems. So, and that's actually gonna be the title of my memoir. Stay tuned. I think she might be better off doing her own thing. And I say this with love. And I'm going to drop her over here in a good neutral position, and her man gets the pits. Deservedly so. Taylor also knows how to make good TV. Actually, great TV. She's clearly the star of the show, and she knows how to work it. She knows how to move along the conflict. Also, she's the most sane and empathetic person on this cast. And looking back to season 1, that seems insane, but it's true. She, literally since episode 1, it's clear that she's the main character, and she deserves this, I think. She's gone through a lot, and she stirred up some drama, but she keeps it moving. Also, as we see her maturing emotionally over the seasons, I've just grown more and more to like her. I think she's just an extremely likable person and very genuine as well. Even though she has matured, she still is not boring, which is great. This woman is mom talk, okay? That's my point. Miranda, what am I gonna do with you? Miranda is a very chill girl, and I appreciate her calmness to an extent in this group dynamic. But genuinely, what's her story? What's her story? The most exciting thing about this girl is that she used to swing, and that she has an ex-husband, which are not really all her accolades, and she's not even really using those things in a storyline sort of way. And that she got called deeply rooted in white trash, which was also not her doing. It was funny though. I enjoyed it. Shout out Brad, we'll get to you. I really just don't understand how her husband, who is just sidelining the show, has more of an impact on it all than she does, being a full-time cast member. Maybe they should just keep her around as a friend of, as they do in The Real Housewives. Give her a confessional or two. But what is she doing here? Is she getting the full payment also? It's crazy to me. At the end of the day, I feel like she brings pretty much nothing. I will say though that Miranda and also Taylor and Whitney know how to make mistakes and grow from them and also forgive them, at least in this TV format. And all the others seem to not to know how to do that. Anyways, let's get the swingers on the chandelier. Taylor's up there, of course, and Miranda will go on a blah spot, which feels very appropriate. Dakota, by the way, should be in jail. But since that's not an option today, I will put him down here. And you know what? Let's also add Taylor's mom because I love her in her new phase. She's a legend in her own right. And I don't know, she really reminds me of Abby Lee Miller of Dance Moms fame. Does anybody else see this? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Now, Demi used to be my favorite, but she really flew too close to the sun too quickly. I don't even want to get too deep into her and Marciano because at the end of the day, it's not my business. Throughout this whole show, not talking about the Marciano thing specifically, I think she genuinely believes everything she says, even when it's outrageous, and that should be studied. I will say that her husband Brad, I told you we'll get to him, is the hottest of them all. Of all the husbandos. And again, she's deeply rooted in white trash. Hilarious. Of course, he apologized for that, but still. I think those two just really deserve each other. And that's all I have to say to that, really. Also, just for completeness sake, I will talk about Jessie now. Trigger warning, Jessie. I feel like I kind of like her. I used to quite like her. That's gotten down a bit. And her cheating scandal with the whole Marciano and whatever pushed us through the season storyline-wise, but I don't really care about her and all of this. I don't know. It was just happening on screen for me. It didn't do anything for me. I really enjoyed her in season 1, but I'm not really interested. Sorry. Even though, like, the marriage is breaking apart and whatever, like, all of these things, I don't really care. Sorry. Let's start this. If there's one thing that Demi is, it's a diva. Jessie, not so much. Jordan, don't care about. He can be with Jessie over here. And Brad. Well, we're not measuring how badly I need a man today, so he'll just go somewhere down here. And I feel like we need to see more of him, but also, do we really want to at the end of the day? Because he's fine, but is he anything else? Really? Not sure. Okay, gone through all the girls. The finale of this season was fantastic. As I said, the first half was not really doing it for me, but all the girls opening up and making up was beautiful, and the way Demi turned that around is insane to me. Like, kudos to her, she really played that game very well. And I don't even mean this in a disparaging way, she just did. The reunion was also stunning. Okay, I'm getting sort of tired of watching these 3-part reunions, looking at you, Real Housewives, just to see like one exciting moment. This reunion was one episode and was explosive, and there was so much going on. And it was really emotional and had some wild twists going on with Dakota, for example, and also Demi versus Jen, and Taylor's parents not accepting Dakota's apology also. My god, that was great TV. Stunning. Great job. I was, by the way, anti-Dakota since day 1. I've always hated this man, and in a twisted way, I love seeing all of this go down. Also, Taylor saying she regrets having a child with him. That hit like a bomb. Also, I just have to say, Stassi, aka gorgeous diva queen, aka the Princess of Sweden. Hosting this reunion was great. I love Stassi Schroeder, and if you don't know her, she's from Vanderpump Rules originally. The last host we had for season 2 was so this was a massive step up, and I think Stassi really ruled it. I think she was funny, especially when she said, and I quote, "Yeah, this is not giving happy holidays." Stunning. One tip for her, coming from a professional to a professional, study those question cards, up and down, repeat them, say them out loud, switch up the order, do the Barbara Walters method. Because when you like pause and read and just read it off the thing, it breaks the flow a little bit. I think she could be even quicker and better if she studied those cards better. That's all I have to say. That's my one note. Love you, Stassi. Love you. So I really appreciate the cast bringing up personal issues, and I would imagine that in their Mormon community, it's even more important to talk about certain things because there are a lot more taboos and social rules that they, I think, partially really break through, which is incredible to see. I also found seeing the married couples working through really intense struggles in their marriages really thought-provoking. I feel like most people around me would never stay in relationships where something like the stuff that is going down there has been going on. I'm thinking of Jesse and Jordan here, and also Jen and Zach specifically. I feel like I'm generation dump his ass, you know? And when I watch these things go down, I'm just thinking dump his ass, but they don't. And they struggle along, and for a lot of it, they genuinely come out stronger and together, which is very impressive. And of course, these people live very different lives. They have children, they are married, and they are on TV. So the circumstances are different, but I just thought it's very interesting. Like, I would have dumped every single one's ass pretty much, except for Brett's. if this would have been my life, you know? And they don't, and I think that's beautiful. I have some grievances with production. Filming the season 2 reunion in the midst of season 3 felt very messy. And in a way, it kind of worked in the end, but especially watching it in season 2, I hated that. It was so weird. Also, either they wear the same outfit for every confessional, or they just do like one confessional per season, and I think that's brutal. I think they should split it up. Imagine, like, for example, being Taylor and being like, within half an hour of sitting at the confessional for production, telling people how nice it is to co-parent with Dakota, and then getting into the cheating of it all. Like, that's just emotional whiplash. I think they should just do maybe 1 or 2 more dates of confessionals. Like in the Real Housewives, they have that like for every other episode, there's a new confessional, right? So I think just a note from production there. You're welcome. I've mentioned this before. I love and hate that they're being very open about being on TV and filming. As I said, on Real Housewives, it's always my friends, and they're barely ever acknowledged that they're on the show, and that is changing because it's 2026 and our world is post BravoCon, post Watch What Happens Live, post podcast, and maybe Real Housewives is kind of still sticking to that. Sometimes that whole charade feels a bit unnatural, I will say, and of course everything is fabricated in general, like, you know, who am I kidding? But I think there's still something nice about that. Like, I want to imagine that I'm literally just watching these women argue and be rich, you know, and that is not the case with Secret Lives. That fourth wall on this show is completely broken down. It's a show, it's a business, and the girls are openly talking and fighting about that. And in a way that feels kind of trashy, but it is also real, which I do appreciate. And I personally hope that this is just going to be a thing, because obviously it's a very special format talking about influencers, like media people being in media. But I hope that they stick with this openness only for this show. I think in general, for most formats, it makes more sense to mainly keep the fourth wall open, and just like I find it always so exciting when there's a little peek through the fourth wall, and it's not just like completely demolished, you know? When there's a moment on Real Housewives where they're like, oh, this and that with the producers, bravo, bravo, fucking bravo. Like, that was so scandalous at the time when Denise Richards said that, calling out, you know, the network or whatever. That was like, whoa, what's happening, you know? Meanwhile, everything's just like, yeah, I'm getting back on the show and da on Secret Lives. Please do let me know your thoughts on this. Anyways, I think with that, we're pretty much done here. Done with today's lesson. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you. And let me know if you want me to talk about more reality TV stuff. I mean, I will do it whether you ask me for it or not, but let's chit-chat about this. Let's chit-chat about what the hell has been going on this season. Do you agree with my takes, or do you think I'm wrong? Again, if you think I'm wrong, keep it to yourself. If you think I'm right, please do let me know. And what can I say? I guess I'll see you in the next one.